Hello friends, this is a very sad and a very confused situation that we are facing here in Manipur. Today I am making this video on how we can solve the misunderstandings between the Kukis and Meiteis. I'm not a professor, not a scholar, but I'm expressing my views as a peace-loving Manipuri as well as a peace-loving citizen of India. Let's see uh, an interview between Kham Khan Swan Housing, Head Department of Political Science, University of Hyderabad, and Madam Zweti Malhotra, Senior Consulting Editor, Wire Channel. And then let me give my comments. My intention is to solve the misunderstanding and communication gap between the two communities.
For earlier conflicts, in the sense that the state is fully complicit. The state plays active as well as central role, both in perpetuating as well as sustaining this violence. So today,
here I would like to say that this violence is caused as central government fails to keep their promises. Before the election, BJP leaders promised that if they form a BJP government in Manipur, all demands of Kukis will be given and all Kuki youths will be living a happy, normal life without the guns. All Kuki youths will be joining the national mainstream, and so they have invested a lot of funds and many benefits were given to them before and after the election. But unfortunately, the Kuki organizations use all this money to buy arms and ammunition from China to make themselves a very strong army of Kukis. They knew that the government of India may never fulfill their demands. So later the violence broke out as a consequence of the betrayal to them by the central government.
yeah, precisely that's the point. In fact, this kind of problematic division of labor between the central paramilitary force and the state police open up new sides of confrontation where divided positions are taken both by the Mera Paibis as well as from the civil society based in the valley and the hill communities, precisely because the hill communities have been contending and maintaining that the paramilitary forces are more seen as guardian of peace as well as security because their deployment is welcome in the foothills.
Here let's find out why Assam Rifles are having good relation with Kuki people. We know that since last many years, central government has signed SU agreement with Kuki armed organizations. Assam Rifles will not attack these Kuki militants even when they are killing the Meitei innocent people. This attitude of Assam Rifles hurts to all the citizens of Manipur, including the Muslims, Nagas, and all women organizations. In order to protect themselves, the Manipuri police and even the Maravivis have to stand against Assam Rifles. One more reason why the Assam Rifles are more attached to the Kuki people is that I suspect that there are many officers who were earning a lot of money by accepting bribes from Kuki drug dealers. This can only be confirmed when any investigating agencies like CBI, NIA do investigate on the properties of those officers of Assam Rifles posted in the Kuki dominated areas. This is a matter of investigation, and investigation is required if Government of India want to have a clean and transparent force in the country.
Pejorative terms like encroachers, like illegal immigrants, or poppy planters, or even narco-terrorists. And in fact, the Chief Minister's office unfortunately become one of the important source of peddling, all these pejorative, slanderous terms, which is very offensive as well as unacceptable because the kind of data that emerge, for example, if you look at the way in which drug trade happened. Look at, for example, a report by the Superintendent of Narcotics and Border Affairs between 2017 and 22. Out of the 2,843 drug cases, in fact, 33% belong to the Kuki Zomi, as well as in terms of the involvement of the Meiteis speaking communities, it is around 60%. So in that sense,
yes, this may be true, and I accept the datas. But we Meiteis have been standing against drug since last many years, and we have been doing anything we can to stop the drug culture in the state of Manipur. Surprisingly, we can hear or see any strong step taken up from any sections of Kuki community against the drug business. And I am sure that all 90% of drug factories and poppy farms are owned and run by Kuki community. Yes, there may be investors and business partners from Meitei community in this business, but we Meiteis declare them as antisocial, and if we find them, all our communities take strong actions against them. But such system is not seen in Kuki society.
A double engine sarkar, yeah, because this would bust, right? The image as well as the myth built around this double sarkar, which is considered to be very effective and ruthless in maintaining law and order. So if the BJP gives way, it would in effect be damaging to its possible, political consequences that it might entail. So in that sense, the BJP seems to put full premium on its electoral as well as political interest above upholding the constitution of India, which I think is a very grave concern.
People of Manipur were expecting many new innovative steps from BJP government both in hills and valley. We thought that they will do wonders on the lives of the people of Manipur both in the hills as well as in the valley. But unfortunately, they did nothing new but followed the same system full of corruption, that type of administration done by Congress before. That's why BJP lost its trust to the people, and people see nothing new in administration but giving new names to its projects. BJP continued to loot and betray the people of Manipur since last 9 years. Because of this negligence, the hatred among the youths, particularly in between the Kuki youths and the Meitei youths, has drastically increased. It's very sad how the youths of both communities hate one another. Youth leaders, community leaders, and administrative leaders must work hard to solve this issue first. Then peace and communal harmony will come soon.
Hindu-Christian divide in Manipur and these Meitei militant groups like the Meitei Lipun, what do they have to do with it?
The Aramoi Tengol is a kind of a militia, which was formed around 2005. And they are pointers, given that, initially there was lack of information precisely because they do not have a dedicated, website or any other organizational outlet. But things began to unravel in ways that the Arambal Tengol is a new Meitei, organization, RegTech organization, which is patronized directly by the incumbent Rajya Sabha MP, Sana Zauba Leisemba, right? And they had been given military training in terms of...
I think Meitei Lipun and Arambai organizations are just civil cultural organizations like RSS in mainland India. Why they involved in the current violence is just to save the innocent Meitei people who were likely to be killed by Kuki armed people. So it's the duty of any organization to do what they can to save the innocent common people. This is all caused by central government's negligence and failure of the intelligence. If central government had already taken the Sioux agreement back at the same time when the state government withdrawn from the Sioux, there would not be such a big havoc here in Manipur.
You just said that it is a state-sponsored militia.
Yeah. In that sense, you see, look at the larger institutional ecosystem within which these two organizations operate. For example, when you have this sacralization project, which got unraveled in the second stint of Biren Singh's government, remember that there was this controversial park which was inaugurated in Cebu in 2022, October 2022, the same time around which there was another attempt to sacralize Kobru Hills, which is considered to be the principal seat of Lai Ningto, the principal god of the Meitei king. And during this time, the state government actively used Meitei Lipun, for example, to carry out, religious pilgrimage by encouraging what they call Kaba, which is go to the hills in the tribal hills to sacralize to kind of claim as well as recognize certain pockets of hills as sacred religious site. So to that extent, by using and employing the service of this Meitei Lipun, or by using Arambai Tengol in its eviction drive. Remember that this eviction drive happened around February of this year. And this eviction was also founded on a very problematic foundation precisely because
If Kukis think that the holy land of Kaubru and its adjacent areas belong to them, then I think that would be quite wrong. We Meiteis believe that our first ancestors were originated from this hilly holy place, and this is more than 2 to 3,000 years ago. But the Kukis enter into the territory of Manipur just before few centuries. Then how they can claim this land belongs to them? And when we Meiteis enter there, we are encroaching to their land. So this concept is quite wrong, and they have to change their mindset on this issue.
as many as 4,000 automatic rifles and 5 lakh rounds of ammunition looted in the valley areas alone. And given that there are sparse availability of police station as well as armed depot in the hill areas, this asymmetrical, looting or handing over of arms and ammunition have deeply, transformed the nature of conflict in ways which make it more lethal as well as dangerous. And look at, for example, some of the instances in which you have increasing pressure mounted on the security personnel who belong to the Meitei communities. And there are credible reports where voice records are caught, whereby Meitei officers, in effect, in their mutual conversation, talks about the undue pressure that they receive to openly side with the Meitei communities. And one of the officers, in effect, confessed in that conversation that he had to launch, mortars, rocket launcher, as well as engage in burning down specific villages without mentioning one.
The reason why arms are being looted from the state force is a very complicated one. Kukis have many arms and ammunitions as they have many militant organizations, but on the side of Meitei people, they were all unarmed civilians. In order to protect themselves, they have to snatch the arms from the state forces. Again, it's the failure of the state government and misguide to the arrogant Kuki youths that central government allow them to have sophisticated weapons, and because of this civil war-like violence is happening.
Definitely. So if you look at, for example, the Meitei Lipun leader Facebook post on 20th April, where he openly instigate his legions of followers, not only to cut down the trees, dry up the waters, and to purchase the MLAs who are, according to him, on sale, and got confirmed in his interview with Karan Thapar of the Wire 2 weeks ago, where he, in effect, again openly threatened that if the center does not do anything immediately, he will the blow is coming, and he says that the Kukis in a 15-kilometer stretch in the Kangpokpi areas would be quote unquote wiped out. So this type of statements, in effect, would have invited immediate arrest and detention of person and prosecution in the highest offense of the land. But given the fact that this person, Pramod Singh, is allowed to remain scot-free and roam around very freely, suggests that without the complicity of the state, such type of alarmist as well as open incitement to genocide.
I support Meitei Lipun Pramod on saying that he would try to wipe out all the Kuki people blocking the national highway on Kangpopi, because this is not the first time that our national highways are blocked by hill people. They do this many times, and they rob and loot from the vehicles running on the highways. Such extreme and repeated activities cause difficult for running normal life in the valley. This is a shame that such an act of blocking and looting on highways shows the barbarian nature of the Kuki community. But surprisingly, no Kuki Even the most educated people like Professor Kam speaks no word against this. This is Assam, and I can proudly say if Meiteis were on the nation highways and Kukis were in a valley, such activities of blocking highways would never happen. And this shows the difference between the Kukis and the Meiteis.
Rights, which is
Okay.
inevitable, isn't it? So, in that sense, it would be naive to say that the Kukis, as the victims or recipient of violence, will not retaliate. If you, for example, imagine yourself that you live in a in a house, and your house is burst into by robbers. You not keep quiet, right? You defend whatever it takes to defend the properties as well as the lives that matter to you. That is precisely what unraveled in the foothills in Manipur.
Here, Professor Kam is saying that Meiteis attacked the Kukis. In the same way, the Meiteis are claiming that the Kukis attacked them first. But this will only be confirmed from a thorough investigation. Now the investigation is going on and the result will come out very soon. Those responsible for this violence will be punished according to the law of the nation. So let's wait for some time and stop blaming any particular community for starting this violence.
What are your concerns? Do you think this could spread in other states of the Northeast, which is really a melting pot of hundreds of tribes and ethnic groups?
Early on 4th May itself, when the Kuki as well as Meitei groups in Shillong openly clashed, and there are possibilities of this spiraling out of hand. But somehow the NPP government under Conrad Sangma had effectively dealt with this, and somehow it has been forestalled. That's one. The second possibility is, look at, for example, the kind of messaging that comes out from all Assam Meitei Students Association, which openly threatened to impose economic blockade on Lailanpur, Kachar, and Mizoram, national highway, which in effect almost open up a new site of confrontation between Meiteis located in Assam as well as Meiteis who are also concentrated in large number in Mizoram. So that could, this very fragile, fluid situation can, wreak havoc. And
it is very surprising to hear that Professor Kam is speaking against the plan of Meitei student organizations blocking the National Highway of Mizoram. But he cares nothing about more than 40 days long National Highway being blocked by Kuki people on Kangpopi. This is not fair. If majority of the Kuki people were civilized and educated, they would never do like this. I think giving proper education, jobs, and starting factories in these Kuki-dominated areas will ease the tension of National Highway. Poverty, joblessness, and having no facility for proper education make many Kuki youths to loot on highways, and they think as a part of their livelihood. This compels them. The looting on the national highways is a part of their life and is a source of income for them. So my dear friends, I would like to conclude expressing my opinion on how Kuki people misunderstand the Meitei people. I am taking Professor Kam in particular as his opinions are what most Kuki people think to be true. We have to share and discuss our views very often in a peaceful way, and only then we can come to a conclusion. We Meiteis as a community of majority and indigenous people demand nothing but to preserve the environment by stopping poppy cultivation on vast hill areas, stop immigration from Myanmar and Mizoram. If refugees are here, please stay in refugee camps only. And that's all. If some community think that our demands are against them, then only law can give the justice. We all have to respect and obey the law of our country. I hope the violence will stop very soon and peace and common harmony will revive in Manipur as soon as possible. Thank you very much, and if you have any comments and suggestions, please leave your valuable comment. Thank you.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.